sometimes I'm just plain at home, but I am here to call the meeting to order. I want to tell you, we're hoping to be in and out in 1 hour, okay? So, yes, we'll all be glad if that happens.
This is our last
That's our goal. It's our last meeting of this season. So let's try to make it a good, brief one, okay? First of all, I must tell you that we have Marty out today. She had a death in the family up in Michigan, I think it is, and she flew up to be a part of that for the weekend. So in her absence, you may recall that we appointed Linda Lewis as a recording secretary, and she just got elevated to our secretary for tonight. So let's give her a So with she said, just tell me if I have to do something. Okay. So first of all, we can call on Ernie. That's her other half. Notice I said other half, but he's the better half too sometimes. Ernie, would you do the Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer for us?
Let's all stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we come to you tonight, and we have many needs, and we won't go through them all because you know them all. But we do want to ask you to help us to have just a good meeting tonight and a good short meeting tonight. Amen.
Amen. With that, I'm going to ask Linda, would you please tell us, Linda, did we post the meeting as per the state statutes?
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you very much. And now I'll ask you if you will do roll call for us.
Okay.
People are right there.
Jackie Cranwell.
She's excused.
Marty Falwell.
She's excused.
Ernie Lewis is here. Tom Long. On the phone.
He'll be late as usual.
Margie Preston.
She's here.
Judy
Rauscher.
Rauscher. She's here. Okay. And Rhonda Vaughn.
Rhonda? All right.
She is.
Okay.
Cool.
Now, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we have a quorum.
Hallelujah. We can do business. All right, thank you. So we do have an agenda. It's pretty lengthy, but typically what we'll do is ask for the reading of the minutes for the April meeting. I, for one, in the essence of time, would like to say we could forego that if someone would make a motion.
So moved.
Okay, and someone would second it.
I second that.
Okay, hooray. We'll keep moving on. Next we have consideration of communications. We have had some communications this month. Most of them have been emails back and forth with probably the roof company because we've had some issues, but nothing that needs to be read here today. We have next resignations and elections, and I'm asking, have we any resignations at the table? Oh, you better keep your hand down. I'm happy to say we're still a full board, and this is a couple months into this, and sometimes I wonder why. All right, so we're going on to the reports of the officers and employees. Well, our employee is not here, but I can give you a brief report as your president, okay? What? No. Okay. So, Tom is making his way in. While I give my report, he'll sashay down the aisle and we'll pretend we don't notice, okay? So, as your president, okay, I will say this. I believe that life is a very gentle teacher. Sometimes we feel frustrated and confused, which usually precedes actual growth in your life. So I should be getting pretty tall behind this podium in the next couple months. We've taken many steps forward since taking our positions on the board last December, and we've made a lot of progress. But I feel, honestly, that this past month, we've taken a few steps back, and it's humbling. I, for one, have to learn to practice a little more tolerance and acceptance of others as well as of myself. We are striving as a board for that balance between expecting too much of both ourselves on the board, of the community, and also expecting too little from others, as well as from ourselves. So I would like to say that I thank many of you, and there are so many of you, who are always helpful and supportive for us. And we pray for the patience and understanding to deal with those few who we have in this park who are our ongoing challenges. And we do have a few of those. So this month, okay, on the bright note, I would like to recognize, because no one gave us any little notes saying, hey, I have a good citizen award idea, and so it's gone back to me. So I had to research my mind, and I came up with a very good one, I believe. I would like to nominate Tom Maraca. Tom, stand. Tom is one of those, like many of you, who is always there, who you don't have to ask for help when you have something going on. But Tom came to the aid of someone who was quite upset on Saturday night because her unit began to flood. She was getting water. It was coming out of the bathroom into her living room. It was late, and she didn't know what to do. She lives close to Tom. She called, and he and Chris answered the call. And so he did what he could, and then he called myself, and Henry and I went over, and we were able to find a plumber who finally came. She ended up having a backup, and it was an ugly thing. Luckily, it wasn't terrible water. It was gray water. She had done laundry earlier in the day, and it was more like laundry water than anything. But the bottom line is, there was water all over, and it was a big, terrible experience for her. So Tom, thank you very much for being the good person that you are. Yes?
Thank you and Henry.
Well, we all did our part, but I'm just saying, Tom really was a consolation, and he invited her over to stay even. So thank you. So with that, we'll get on with the rest of our reports. So next on the list, I believe, will be our vice president, and that would be Ernie.
Okay, that's a very short report each month, because as vice president, I do whatever my boss tells me to do. And I've done that this month.
He's been really good at it.
Well,
That's quick. Okay.
Oh, damn quick.
Okay, we will, okay. So, next is Marty, and because we have Linda pinch hitting for Marty, I'll kind of go over this. We talked last month about putting a newspaper, the free newspaper vending machine out, and there were all kinds of ideas of where that ought to go. And I'm sure you must have noticed that at this point, it's on the porch right before the entry to the office. I hate it there. But for now, it's there. I still think it would be best in the corner where that laundry room door is. And I think we can make that happen, but I've had so many other problems to deal with that I'm dealing with the fish that I have to fry and not the ones I don't have to fry right now. So we're gonna forget about that. But Marty did have a good idea, because we noticed that all the newspapers were gone before the next week newspaper came out, which means you people like that idea, and we're happy if you're happy. We have a new set of owners for 1672, I believe it was number 7. Is it 7? Anyway, I don't know their names, sorry. But the good news is, it was a wonderful sale, sold for $149.9. So those of you who have N units could feel very good. That was an interior B unit, which is a very good price for that, okay? Now we're going on to our treasurer, Judy Rauscher, and she's going to do an audit update for us.
Good evening. We received the audit from Hurt Hawkins for the year-end financial statements as of December 2018. We, as a community, are in very, very stable shape. We have copies for distribution, but there's one major discrepancy in the figures. The audit revealed that the bulk cable bill from Spectrum had not been received by QPM for approximately the past 8 months, since I believe the transition from Associa to Qualified. They had been billing, Spectrum had been billing Associa for all these months, and only the audit brought forward this error. We owed Spectrum monthly bills from May 2018 through December 31st, 2018, and that will be paid from the 2018 fund, so that will change our year-end figures. The board is elected to pay the entire bill for 2018 and bring our 2019 service up to date. Therefore, our home TV, Spectrum, bulk cable will not be jeopardized. The entire bill is $39,148.74. The Spectrum bill has been adjusted will have to be adjusted before the final figures are accurate, and once we receive those, we'll get those out to everyone. If you want to get the end of the year statement, please let us know. We'll have them at the office, and you can pick them up. After the adjustment and the new end of the year statements are received, once we get the final figures, we're gonna, as we voted, we're gonna roll over one half of the surplus into roofing and one half into paving. And we decided that at the annual meeting. It will be less than we thought it was going to be, but it still is something. Also, quite honestly, I'm very happy we voted at the annual meeting to have this audit. Or maybe we would never have found this discrepancy, or it could have reared its ugly head long down the road, as it were. We would have owed a lot more money. As you know, we did not leave on the best terms with Associa, so they were not willing to help us at all. It was only through Hurd Hawkins, the CPA who did our audit, that they contacted Associa and got them to send things over to us, so we're very pleased with that. That's what I have for the audit.
Good morning.
Thank you, Judy. I think we all are very lucky that we have TV. I can't believe that they let us go all those months without being paid. That's crazy. And it's all because they kept going to Associa, and because Associa doesn't like us, they just did nothing about it. I guess they were thinking, how funny would it be if 185 people woke up one day and had no TV? At any rate, we're moving on. Next we have our newest manager, and this is Susan Abels. Susan has been trying to get acclimated to our community. She's been here a couple of times, including a special meeting that we had last week with the owners and she. So, Susan, you want to give us an update?
Blaze and I came in on Tuesday and met with the board and kind of went over a few things. The biggest priority was that cable bill that they keep talking about. The office didn't know about it, but and had been calling to try to get the fees reduced. So we've got Blaze involved now. And being the CEO of the company, he's going to try to use his leverage because Qualified manages many communities. So, but I will say that Spectrum is not as easy to deal with as perhaps. You have a very nice community here, and I'm trying to see if there's anything that I can do to help fit in, and Margie's doing an excellent job along with the board, and you guys have wonderful volunteers, which makes everything go a lot smoother when you have participation. So if there's anything I can do, feel free to reach out to me. My information is readily available. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. We are happy to have you. Moving on to our other reports from our committee people. We have Ernie, who is going to give us the grounds report.
Okay, for my report, I've got several issues that I want to address here tonight. First of all, I just want to inform you that we got a notice from Largo that we needed to have 9 manholes on our property inspected, and the report sent back to them, and they gave a list of issues that we needed to look at. That was done, and that was completed. Kevin was able to do the inspection, so here's another situation where he saved us a good amount of money because he was able to do this and we wouldn't have to hire someone to do it. There are several people that have shared that they're having problems with insects and pests and bugs and things like that. Let me share with you, don't wait. At the first sight of an insect problem, call the office so you can get on the exterminators list. If you have pests, such as you're questioning whether there are rats in your attic or so forth, call and we will try to help you with that and check on it. But do not wait until it gets really bad and then come and think we can get it done in a day or two. So anytime you see something, take quick action. The other issue has to do with the trimming of the trees. With the hurricane season rapidly approaching, it's important that we do some preventative maintenance on our trees. Kevin and Tommy are going to be heading up this project, and when Tommy gives his report, he can give us more details on that. I'd like to thank Tommy for helping us with that, because that is a very important issue. The next issue is, as most of you probably have heard, we had 2 replacement trees that we needed to purchase. We have purchased those replacement trees. They're going to be replaced on, they're going to be planted March 15th. They're going to be on this street right here, one on either side of the road, right around 1662. One is a magnolia, the other is a red maple. And then the next issue, lawns and palms. They are now fertilizing our property through the irrigation system. There have been some questions about whether the fertilizer is safe to use because it may go on automobiles and so forth. They have assured us that the fertilizer is safe and will be used and will be effective. He is not using any weed killer because in so many areas the only thing we have is weed. And so we'd at least like, where all we have are weeds, we would at least like to have them green. Okay. Now, planting outside your unit. I'd like to give a big thank you to those that have filled out the request to obtain approval from the association for adding new plants around the unit. First of all, thank you for obeying the rules of the association. And also thank you for ignoring the advice that seems to be floating around in so many areas, and that advice is just do whatever you want to. Don't do that. Yeah. Let's all go by the rules. I would like to share something about our community pool. We are having to get a new pool company to service our pool beginning June 1st. The present pool company in Normandy Park came to an understanding that it would be better if we were in agreement to end our contract. We did not like the way they were doing some things and not doing some things that were expected, and they didn't like the idea of us complaining about them not doing what they need to do. And so we have already made arrangements for a new company to begin June the 1st. Let me just share this. When the new company begins, if they are doing something that you think is out of order, or if they're not doing something that they should be doing, please don't go to them and tell them. Let the office know or let the directors know, and we will address it with them. And so at this time, I'd like to make a motion that we hire Gulfside Pools to begin June 1st to take care of our pool.
Is there any discussion?
Is there a second?
Yes, there is. I
Okay.
second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Actually, I just want to add to what Ernie said. Part of the issue with Artistic Pools, which is the current servicer, was that there were too many people at the pool who were kind of telling their technician what they should do, what he should be doing, or what he wasn't doing. And it's just very important for Normandy Park, residents to understand. When we hire people, they don't expect to be pecked away. It's just like we say with Kevin. We don't want you going to Kevin and telling Kevin everything you want him to do. The process is you come to a director, you let us know what it is you think or you believe, and then we will filter it to the correct person. And if it's something about Kevin, then Ernie is the person that deals directly with Kevin. Ernie will see Kevin about it. If it's something about a servicer, then one of the directors, whose ever field or zone I say that is, if it's buildings or what have you, that director will handle going to the servicer. But we are gonna be running out of pool companies if we do this again, okay? So we need to be on better behavior. If you're at the pool, try not to inject yourself into what they're doing. Yes, we want you to keep an eye on what they're doing, and if they're not doing what they're supposed to, and there were some valid complaints, okay? I did hear that although we had engaged them for 3 times a week, and they were supposed to be vacuuming the pool 3 times a week, they were coming, but they weren't necessarily vacuuming the pool, okay? So it was a valid complaint, but my point is, there were other issues with people talking to them, and it just didn't go set well, that's all. And then I called and told them the person that came on the weekend looked homeless, and they really didn't like that, so. It was just a myriad of things, okay? So now, any other discussion? If not, I would like to ask for a vote. All those in favor of hiring Wolfside Pool for the same price of $485 a month to service our pool, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No one opposed, so motion is carried. Thank you.
Let me share something else. Also, residents should not be going in the pool house and making any adjustments on the equipment or unplugging equipment or doing it. They shouldn't even be in there. It's locked up, but from what I understand, someone can use a knife to get that door open. And so if you see someone in that house that is not Kevin or the pool guy, please let me know about it, because they should not be going in there. And the pool will be taken care of and not by volunteer residents, okay?
Spray paint.
I told Kevin today to go ahead and order one of those shields that you can put on the door where you can't use, and we're gonna have them. Now, in closing, I'd like to say appreciation. I really do appreciate all those who willingly volunteer to help and to get things done around our park. And I hope that everyone remembers that those who serve on the board are also volunteers. And so let's work together as a team, and doing that, help Normandy Park be a happy place.
Very good, thank you. You might as well pass it right over to Tom, okay? Our next report will be Tom. Tom is our buildings director.
Just a note about the pools. We have had various complaints that the furniture is dirty. Now, why we inspected it, Kevin looked at it, I looked at it, and what that is, there's components in suntan lotion. And what it is, it's staining the nylon plastic webbing. And that's not gonna come out. So the best thing to do is to go ahead and put a towel down and lay on the towel, and then the suntan lotion won't touch the webbing.
Can I make a comment about what was said here about the pool and
Well,
the
actually,
towels?
we're gonna save that, cause we're trying to be done in an hour. You can talk at the
It'll only
homework.
take 1 second.
Go ahead.
There are very few people here. Could someone put it in an
It will be,
email or
that's
a
why we're doing
newsletter?
this. It will be in the
Specific
minutes.
to everybody.
Right.
So
Oh, I'm
everyone
actually
knows.
gonna make a little poster, and it will be out there telling people,
That'll be good too.
here's the problem, here's what you can do to prevent that problem. And we're not just gonna go out and buy new furniture, and we're not gonna
No,
go out and
we
buy
shouldn't
new
have to.
living.
And I'm putting a sign on the back of my truck.
There you go, I like that. We'll put one on the back of his too.
And all pool goers will be required to wear a T-shirt that says it on the back. $5. There you go.
There you go.
Okay, getting on to the buildings. The roofs, as we speak, are all done. Just before I came over here, I spoke with them, they're completed. The only thing he needs to do is bring down one of the documents we need to get the final inspection. So, and I think we got the final inspection on 2 of them.
I know one, I don't know two.
Okay, so anyway, that's where we stand, on there, and besides all the other problems we had with water, they did a very good job. They did a very good job on how they did the edges, probably the best workmanship that I saw, you know, so I'm just saying that because I know that there's one mistake that they did, and it's not making a lot of people happy. So anyway, and again, Margie could address that, with the water intrusion on the building. The gutter update is, I don't know. Don, did they come and do their punch list?
They did.
They did?
I got paid.
And the 3 units that we have, that we just finished the roofs with,
They will be addressed, but we're not doing anything till we get everything done with these roofers, okay? When we come to
well.
everything being done, okay? We have
you mean
to
lit-
address.
Okay.
Okay.
Litigation.
Yeah. We're, we do wanna do bettering on them, but we're going to hold up until we get things calmed down a bit. This is something that you should do the report, and we have 2 units, and that's the cost.
Okay. Okay, do we have to put that for a vote?
We should, yes.
Okay. There's a couple of buildings that, have an infestation of, the
They're-
dry termites,
Right, drywood termites.
and,
So we need some spot treatments of 2 units, 1622 number 3,
right.
and 1672 number 6, okay?
Yep, so it comes to a grand total of $890.
Right, so we need,
And is that something that we can maintain a warranty on?
well, they only give a 90-day warranty on it, okay?
Okay.
That's all they do for drywoods,
For the
okay?
dry.
Okay,
Okay.
so, but we do need to have it taken care of. We did have 1672 tented